Hi, my name's Sabina Fenn. I'm an illustrator from Toronto, and this is my story. So I started making crafts in elementary school. I remember from a really young age I started making art, and I would get really excited to come home from school and finish my crafts or my paintings, whatever I had going on at the time. And in high school I would paint landscapes from beaches to mountains to kind of escape whatever I had going on, and just brought me a lot of peace, and I loved to do it. And my parents would hang my paintings all over the house against my will, but today I still incorporate a lot of a sense of a peace into my work. I'm really inspired by the European lifestyle of just that's kind of a bit more laid back, and I want people to feel a sense of peace when they're looking at my work and bring them a bit of joy in that way. So I always wanted to be an artist, and I didn't really know how to do that. I was pretty much told it wouldn't be an option, and I decided to go into fashion thinking that I would have a good career, it would be creative, but it would be a little bit more sustainable. And in fashion school we learned about fashion illustration, and I just really loved it, and I started working on it. And then we learned about some of the great illustrators in the past, and I wanted to be just like them, and so I started working on my craft and developing my style, and from there I started posting my work online and getting little commissions here and there and getting jobs, and that was when I realized I could make a career out of this if I kept at it and worked hard enough. When I first started doing fashion illustration, I was purely drawing digitally because I thought it'd be a lot easier for clients, and now I call myself a women's lifestyle illustrator because I love fashion, but I also love other aspects of the lifestyle surrounding the everyday woman, including wellness, yoga, and travel, food, and I paint now with watercolors and gouache paints. Yeah, painting just feels very natural to me. It feels like a part of who I am, and I don't know if that's because I've developed that or if it's because I've just done that since I was young, but since I started painting I felt like I could really express myself again, and I felt like people really started to resonate with my work in a different way, and now I get to sell original paintings and prints and see them in people's homes, and it just makes me so happy. And every time I work on a client project now with the paints, I just love the way that the outcome looks, and I love how they like the personal style that I've put into my work. Well, I work with clients a lot to make custom illustration depending on their needs. I work with a lot of different companies to create illustrations for postcards or social media marketing, different types of graphics, and I love working in my studio. I think it's important for every artist / illustrator to have a really good, comfortable studio. Like, I think it should be your zen space because you're obviously spending a lot of time in it, but you also want your space to feel inspiring to you, which is why I have a lot of plants, a lot of decor. So above my sofa in my studio I have framed a few of my favorite paintings. These were created for my portfolio, but they were really sort of explorations into the watercolor style that I was going for. A couple of them have these mistakes in them, but I left them because I thought it made them look like imperfectly perfect. I like how paintings aren't always perfect, which is something that I always had with the digital drawings. I try to keep my space feeling lively and bright and warm. Just a very comfortable place to work in because I'm often spending hours at a time on a painting. So I need to make sure that I'm comfortable doing it. This is Nala. She is a lionhead rabbit. She was a rescue bunny, and I got her when I was living in my condo because I couldn't look after a dog at the time. And I was like, well, a rabbit's pretty much the next best thing. And she doesn't have a cage. She just roams around. I litter trained her, and she keeps me company while I work, and she's really sweet and wants attention all the time, which kind of distracts me. But it's good to have company when you're working alone. My work is very inspired by summer. I feel like I've watched the city just come to life in the summer, and people really focus on their well-being a lot more in the summer and enjoy going out for dinner and just slowing down a little bit. And I very much enjoy that lifestyle, and I think I try to capture that too in my work, and combined with different elements of different cultures, and I'm very inspired by different cultures and different ways that people live around the world. It's really frustrating when you get into a creative block. Sometimes I feel like I've just completely lost all my talent and I'm never gonna get it back. But it's just a normal feeling to kind of hit a wall sometimes. But in the moment, it can be a little bit, you can feel a little bit panicked to find your way again. It can be as simple as not knowing what to paint, or forgetting how to paint something that you haven't painted in a while. It can make you feel like you're not a good artist, or I don't know. Going through creative block, I think, is something that all artists deal with, but sometimes it can get really bad, and sometimes you don't know how long it's going to last, and that can be very stressful. And if you're working on client projects too at the same time, you obviously want to make sure you're putting all your creativity into it, but if you're a bit stuck, it can be a bit harder to have the best result with that. I think growing up here, I always watched my parents work very hard to get to where they are, and I saw people in Toronto like hustle every day, and I'm very focused on living a really peaceful, sort of happy life, and I want that for other people as well. I don't want to live a sort of fast-paced life that is just work. Like I want the work to feel joyful, and I want that for other people as well, which is why throughout my career I really hope to help other illustrators pursue what they love. Well, there's 4 pieces really that are like my favorite right now. Those 3 are part of it, and then the one that's behind there. They're all very like tropical sort of destination. These pieces I feel like are very authentic to who I am. I feel like they show a certain aspect of my personality through them. They're each inspired by a different location. One of them is in Morocco, one of them is in Croatia, and then the other one is in the south of France. And these are pieces that I want people to look at and just feel a sense of peace and calm, and the way you would feel when you're on a vacation and everything is perfect, and you're living in a great world for a while. I'm a lot more peaceful when I'm painting versus drawing digitally. Yeah, I love like how they're almost like being taken over by the plants. I just wanted them to look very natural, but very like overwhelmingly green. I love having a lot of plants around, and just find it adds to a very peaceful environment. But yeah, I choose all my colors very specifically as well. I try to keep all my work very consistent by choosing specific colors to work with each other. My main colors are obviously the pink and green, and then I have like the warm skin tones and the sort of beigey colors. I love to draw big hats. I try to let myself make bad art. I actually wrote a blog post about this. I think it's important to make bad art in order to make good art. Sometimes I'll just take a piece of paper and just do whatever I want on it, or I'll take a canvas and like splash a bunch of paint on it and make something that looks horrible. But it kind of like gets something out of your system that after you can go back to your paper and feel a little bit more peaceful again. I guess that would be like a little bit of a meditation for me. It's just doing that kind of releases a bit of tension that I might have. Sometimes you just need to step away from the canvas for a while. You need to take a bit of time off work and enjoy life a little bit, and then you can come back feeling refreshed.